Hi, thanks for giving me your attention. My presentation is not a pitch, it's actually on topic. The topic is sustainability and can travel make a contribution, a positive contribution to sustainability. And that's an important discussion, especially in German-speaking markets, because the tendency has been to say the best thing for the planet would be for no one to fly anymore. And we respectfully disagree. If you look at the contribution to climate change, aviation makes about 1.9%, but deforestation, crop burning, and misuse of land in vulnerable ecosystems makes up 13 to 14%. And if you go from that basis, then you realize that if we at home feel safe driving our electric SUVs to the organic store and not flying anymore, then we might have something that gives us a good sense of moral superiority in our home markets, but does not coincide with where the actual front line of climate change is happening. And that front line is here. You see on this world map, all the dark orange spots are where climate change has the highest impact. Now, if you're an avid traveler and you like to have nice vacations, you will notice something. Those orange spots, for the most part, coincide with great places to travel. And that presents not only a risk, but also an opportunity to make a significant change. Because if we think about what is the most valuable contribution to mitigate climate change, it is protecting ecosystems. You will achieve much more by protecting a rainforest ecosystem than you will achieve by buying carbon offsets and having some spruce planted in Finland. Because this is what those landscapes, those beautiful pristine areas that we like to travel to are increasingly looking like, especially if we stop traveling there. The first one was in Peru, this is in Indonesia. You know these pictures, but what I would like to impress upon you is how brutally direct the choice is. The rainforest is either visited, or it's cut down, or it's mined. That's pretty starkly what's going on. And if we want to change that and mitigate that, then we have to act locally. The local population in Kalimantan, which has a choice of logging or offering tours, is not impressed by a WWF petition that is going on in Germany. They don't care because it is about feeding themselves. So you either feed them by bringing revenue to the protection of the ecosystem, or you don't, and it gets cut down. The thing that really works is money. And by money, we don't mean charity money, but actually creating a sustainable economic environment locally on the ground to protect those ecosystems. And if you calculate that, then you realize that it's actually not that much money. Around 30 billion euros, which on a global scale is not much, would suffice to actually protect across the entire tropical band those vulnerable ecosystems. And that is what has the highest impact if we want to mitigate climate change. And that includes not only rainforests, but also the blue ecosystems, so marine ecosystems. And to be clear, when we talk about an ecosystem, if you plant a whole plantation of one type of tree in the Trillion Tree Project, that is a great activity, but it's nowhere close to the impact that you have if you protect an entire ecosystem with all its fauna and flora, which works together. And resilient ecosystems are in decline and have been in accelerating decline despite COP conferences and all that, because we tend to overfocus in our conversations on carbon capture, on a single gas, on technological solutions for that, whereas weather and climate systems are much more complicated, and you need the interaction of fauna, flora, insects, and weather systems on a local level to avoid the tipping points that will get us above 2 degrees. So if we talk about protecting forests, we have to understand that protecting virgin rainforests is 10 times more effective than planting new trees. And that means for the travel industry that it has to substantially change. And by substantially change, we mean not paying €5 on your British Airways flight for a bit of CO2 compensation, but change the value chain. Coincidentally, that is what we at itravel are about. We are disrupting the entire value chain of the travel industry, and in so doing, we have the opportunity to influence supplier selection, to fully compensate, including land arrangement, not just flight, what we're doing, and then to act hyper-locally, to involve local communities. Because that is what you have to do. If you don't work with local economies, with local business interests, and create economic incentives to protect ecosystems, you're going nowhere, even from a sustainability point of view. And that does not only mean financing local initiatives and integrating local communities, but also working directly with science and research, which we do, for example, in National Geographic. And if you look at it from a business point of view, it's actually also good business. Because what you're actually doing is an industry that has a very fragmented value chain where local retail, the tour operator, the incoming agent take more than half of what you're paying for your trip before any of that money has even arrived in destination, leaving only 48% of your trip price actually impacting the quality of your travel. And if you cut all of that out through digitization, which is what we do, and you supply directly from the destination and offer directly to the customer, then you reclaim that half of the price, which you can reinvest into sustainability and, incidentally, into an awesome trip. Picture this for yourself. Would you rather be in one of 30 Jeeps chasing the last 3 lions in the park? Or would you prefer to have an authentic, direct interaction on a game drive in Botswana where you are alone and the animals are 2 meters away, which my wife did last week? It costs more, but it pays more in terms of sustainability impact. To give you a concrete example, this is in German because that's where we have the rights for. If you go on a National Geographic expedition with us, we have the exclusive rights. You go to Borneo, not only will you have a once-in-a-lifetime trip with sounds of the rainforest you will never forget, but on top of it, you are actively helping to sustain the forests in Kalimantan, exactly the place of the picture earlier where you saw the orangutan fighting the bulldozer. I said it's good business. It has worked very well for us. 50 million euros of trips sold to date. We expect to hit a run rate of 100 million euros in the coming 12 to 18 months. We've serviced 50,000 travelers. We have an extremely high customer return rate, and for anyone who knows the travel industry, that is an achievement because the traveler is one of the most illoyal customers. No one says, I only book with First Choice or TUI, but our customers say, I only book with itravel. And the reason they do that is because those trips are also once-in-a-lifetime trips. We serve 6 European source markets into 92 destinations worldwide. It was a difficult choice for us in the beginning to build up that inventory, and it was the right choice because the ability to choose between different destinations is a very key part of the service that we offer our customers. I'd like to close with a picture that moves my heart every time I think about it. These are actual children from an itravel group in Peru, in a natural reserve, planting a tree in a ceremony with an indigenous tribe. The children still speak about it. It was 5 years ago. When are you going to travel to such a destination? Thank you very much.